Hello everybody and welcome back to another session of Tips from the Trenches. The late Maya Angelou, American poet and civil rights activist, said, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget the way you made them feel." How true are these insightful words? So what are these feelings generated from? You've probably heard that most of what we communicate is accomplished through non-verbal methods, 93% to be exact. And this has come to be known as that 7% rule, where only 7% of our communication is verbal, and the leftover 93% is made up of non-verbal communication, predominantly body language and tone of voice. So we know with people living with dementia, that some of the first symptoms they experience is problems with language, so word finding, or putting the incorrect word into a conversation. Another symptom that they experience is short-term memory loss. However, non-linguistic and non-verbal communication is often preserved well into mid and even later stages of dementia. And so that is why this quote from Maya Angelou is so important for us caregivers, whether we be informal caregivers, so friends, family, or formal paid caregivers. We really need to take this quote to heart, memorize it, maybe display it in our homes. And I actually want to share a little bit about a study that has recently been done out of one of the universities in the States, because this further supports that important message that caregivers have a profound influence on the emotional state, good or bad, of the person living with dementia. So what the researchers did was that they took people living with dementia and they showed them clips of happy and sad movies. And the results were the patients experienced sustained states of happiness and sadness, despite not being able to remember what the movie was all about. And so the findings of this study is published in the journal Cognitive and Behavioral Neurology, and I'll put a link to that article in the comments below. So these are just one of many studies that are proving to us that the emotional life of those living with dementia is very alive and well. So while memories may fade, feelings remain. Such an important point to remember. Out of that research, they suggested some activities that help the person living with dementia to experience lasting positive emotions. And so some of these suggestions were frequent visits, social interactions, exercise, music, dancing, telling jokes, and actually enjoying the person's favorite food together. So this concept of emotional memory really fits in well with what we discussed last session, which was don't correct, but connect. And so if you want to listen to that session, that's the previous one. But I'll just briefly go through that. There was that strategy we spoke about that had 3 points. The first one was don't argue and learn to take the blame. The second one was to validate the person's feelings and reassure them. And then finally, we shared about redirecting, but only once we validated those feelings and reassured the person. In saying all of this, for some of you, you may be really thankful and welcome this information today, and yet others may just be really feeling very tired, exhausted, feeling that you can't cope, and that's when it's not easy to be cognizant of our body language. And so it's so important, as always, for us to be very aware of the possibility of caregiver burnout. And what we'll do in our next session is we're going to look at some of the strategies we can implement to avoid caregiver burnout, or if you're already experiencing that caregiver burnout, to identify that and what do we do? So thank you so much for your time today. Please do like these sessions, share these sessions. As always, I wish you peace, I wish you strength, and I wish you moments of joy. Until next time.